Good afternoon, day or night, whatever time it might be for you guys. Welcome to Forest River. I'm your host, the Rental Man Buck. As of recently, I have just learned that I inherited my grandpa's farm. What he didn't tell me is that I also inherited all the farm's debt. Yeah, we're $100,000 in debt. I'm just kind of coming off of, how we say, not a great financial standpoint at $5,800 in the bank. But I have faith that we're going to be able to make it happen. We're in the whip. We are in the Boston Caprice. Look at this thing. We even got rally wheels on it. But here is the farm. Holy cow, it came up quickly. I am tasked with trying to bring this farm back from the... I don't even know what you could call it. It hasn't really been in operation within the last 5-6 years. And I really got to see what's all on the farm and what I have to work with. Won't be needing that for very much longer, but it looks like we're gonna need to do some trimming work. The trees are just kind of getting a little out of hand, and nothing's really happened out here within the last few years. Grandpa's old Chevy, I would think that all this stuff still runs, but we'll definitely need to get some batteries hooked up. Probably put some fresh fuel in these things. I'll have to check all the hydraulic lines to make sure. I don't even know how much fuel is in this tank. Could we look down in there? It's like a 2,500 gallon tank. I mean, it looks like maybe got about a fifth, maybe 500 or so. Take a peek inside the Quonset. What has he got in here? 40-20? Not great, but it's a 30-10. 820. Got a 2-cycle. At least he had 2 tractors. What is this? 6620. Well, that makes sense why there's a 6-row outside. And a 20-foot auger header. Well, at least he had a newer mower, though. That'd be nice. We can use that to mow the yard. 6-row planter, and I think I saw that. Yeah, we do have a New Holland mower up on the north side. Well, let's take a look at the map. I want to show you guys kind of the layout of this farm. This is a 4X map. I think Grandpa's kind of got some stuff all scattered around. Yeah, he never really had a whole bunch of land, but with the size of equipment he was running, this still did take a decent chunk of his time to really go and harvest in a shorter time frame. But he's got the field that's right across the road from us, 2 fields up north with another one about a mile ahead of that. And then there's one way down on the south side. We'll probably have to go and take a look at all of this. Looking at our crops, though, 40 is the only cornfield by the looks of it. 50 and 28 are both wheat. And then 17 and 39 are bean ground. If I can plan my finances right, we might be able to expand upon that within at least a season or 2, depending on how well I can do contracts versus my own grain prices and environmental scores. I think the greatest place to start, though, is going to be seeing what all runs and what all is going to need to be charged up or fueled up. If you guys would like to see more of the Grandpa's farm, let me know down in the comments down below. This is a map that actually I just came across the other day. I was talking with, as you guys know, FS Live over on TikTok, and this was a map that I believe OS Farmings has made. It's based off of a town up in North Dakota, and I think this is actually going to be a really fun farm. I kind of wanted to try and do something a little bit different, and this is a great way to start. The 30-10 fired like a top. This one always was the main workhorse, so it doesn't surprise me that it fired right off. But the combine, on the other hand, that's probably been sitting for a good chunk of time. I'm going to let that run to start burning off some fuel. Be nice, combine. I don't really want to have to deal with you more than I already have to. Yep, that is deader than it can be. Where's the jump box at? Grandpa, where did you put your... There it is. I guess we could check the oil in it. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Jumper has been installed. Purrs like a kitten. Steering is real smooth. Let's creep this thing out and put it in the sunlight. It's not like this thing is a small combine by any means, but by today's standards, this thing is puny. We are lucky we did not just take out those doors. I did not see that those were open. I don't think I'm going to mess with the 2-cycle just yet because we don't really need it. Nor do we really need the 30-10, but I know we're going to need it for the auger I am going to have to look at the grain truck, though. I have no idea if this thing's going to start. We'd need the Chevy, the grain truck, and the combine because all that stuff can be tethered up to the wheat field. Squeak on by. Pretty weak. I don't think it's got enough to turn over. Let's hook up the jumpers once more and see if we can get it to kick. Oh, yeah. Grandpa at least took care of his stuff. It's not like he left things out to rot. But it still is just general wear and tear that gets these things. When you let them sit for too long, being carbureted, the carburetor starts to stick, the fuel lines start to rot. It doesn't take very long for these things to really just fall apart on themselves just due to age. At least they're a lot more simple to repair, though. Everything being mechanical versus electrical really makes a difference. This should fire easily, though. Come on, it's a 350. You can't not just fire. Oh, yeah. Like a charm. Let's grab that header, bring it out, and we'll start greasing it up, and we'll start heading north.
A few moments later.
Let me know down below, guys, what is the oldest piece of equipment you have ever driven? If I were to say the oldest thing that I have gotten to drive in an agriculture standpoint is probably a 2955. I don't remember. It's a really long-nosed two-wheel drive Soundguard. I just don't really have that much experience around older farm equipment, but I'm definitely sure you guys have a lot more experience in that field than me. So let me know down below what you guys have taken part in. Field off to our left is the ground we're going to be cutting. I hope it doesn't take too long. We got a 20-foot header, and we might be able to get at least a truck and a half out. That's my goal. I didn't bring anything else behind me. I'm a one-man show. I got to run back. Remind me again why I'm not a runner. Whew. We'll take the header over because I don't really need the truck once we get there. We come back and get the grain truck. I ain't running again. I hate running. Luckily, in small town communities like this, we don't have to worry about just loading on the road. There's not a lot of traffic that usually heads up and down this main alleyway, so we're going to take as much of an advantage of that as we can. I am going to be dropping straw, though, because we do have the little square baler and the hay rack, so we can at least try and sell off our bales in town. Maybe at some point, if we can stay in the positive enough for finances, we might be able to get into some animals to use the crops to our advantage to grow that market. I'm just going to go grab the grain truck quick, and we'll be right back to start working on the cutting. All systems are officially go. We are harvesting, and this is horrible wheat. This is 50 bushel wheat. I don't even think we're gonna get one truck out of this field. Oh, jeez. We got some work to do. Grandpa's ground needs some work. You guys remember on the Nebraska Farm series, we were cutting wheat at over 150 bushels to the acre. That was, I mean, we couldn't even run a full-length pass on that map because the hopper would be full on the combine. I'm really liking the ground textures on this, though. Grandpa at least did do the weed killing, or he paid someone to do that. I do appreciate the fact that we didn't have to start from absolutely nothing. We at least did have some ground to work with, and hey, we also had some crops to harvest right as we got started. I don't believe I saw a rake back at the farm, so we're just gonna have to tough it out and do all individual passes with the baler. It's not a make or break, but it definitely will get annoying. I might come in here at some point with a plow or maybe even a strip tiller and try and maybe expand on these fields a little bit. They also seem like they have some very rough edges. It's all right, though. Not too big of a problem. I am at least wearing the traditional Rentleman Buck flannel, which is the black and white. I don't have a Wilson hat on, but I do have a Nebraska hat on. Gotta support the Go Big Red. We'll do one more loop around the outside, and then we'll come back around and start working on the, what would be north-south, I think, is how this field's oriented. In the meantime, I'd like you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of harvesting action on Grandpa's farm.
I saw your mama just the other day. She felt so good staying up all night. That will forever be our place. And I know it's been a long time since we were together. There's a special place in my heart that's yours forever. If I could fly right back to where I belong, fly right back to my home sweet home. If I could, I'd take it all back and
This is definitely gonna be a tough pill to swallow. I know that certain crops sell for a decent amount of chunk change on this game, but when I can't even get a full hopper on the combine out of one field, that's not really good. I have my hopes that we can turn this farm around, but it's gonna be a few seasons at this rate, I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Come on. Top off the hopper. This is real life. We all know we just go to the entire end of the pass. Again, why am I always having to run? This sucks. I know a newer combine would of course increase the efficiency of our crop being harvested, but there's clearly no room for that. The only things I'm going to be able to do is my fertilizer application, as well as the weed control and the pH, as well as nitrogen in the ground. I do not have any access to about 85% of those tools right now, but that is going to be the goal. If I have to go to the bank and get even further in debt, I will, but we are not going to cheat a single dime in this series. You hear me? Not a single dime. $5,800 is going to be hard to come back from, but I think we can do it. The best card that we have to help ourselves on this is that we already have crops that we can harvest. We don't have to sit around and plant then wait. We can harvest now, and we can harvest as well in fall to have the soybeans and the corn. Probably not going to have great yields on those either, but beans sell for a decent chunk of change. I haven't checked what wheat sells for, but I'm hoping that we can get a little bit of money. Taking a look at the map, though, that is the only field that is ready to go because field 50, our other wheat field, will not be ready for about another week or two. It's still a little too green to be getting to go. It was planted really late. So I'm going to take the truck in the town, and when I do that, I'll come back with the Silverado so we can get the header off the combine and start working on maybe cleaning up the farm a little bit. I think Grandpa's got some chainsaws and possibly a weed whacker sitting in that shed somewhere. We'll just kind of have to dig around and find out.
A few inches later.
And the winner behind curtain number 1... I will take $2,500. That's better than nothing, right? Maybe I can afford a ribeye at the bar. Who knows? Anyways, we'll get back to the farm, start cleaning that place up, making it look a little bit more presentable than it was. With everything back to the farm, I do want to get some of this stuff cleaned up. I don't have a pressure washer, so we're just going to have to rely on the old pinch the garden hose with the end of your finger and hope that it'll actually spray the vehicle, not you back at yourself. Pretty sure you guys have had that happen once or twice before. Might not be Andy clean, but at some point, we'll make this thing nice and Andy clean. I'd love to mow that with the Craftsman as much as the next guy, but I know that grass is way too tall. So we're going to grab the 3010 and we're going to use that little 3-point mower that's sitting behind the header. Of course, I parked the Chevy in the way. You can't have anything work just right. Maybe at some point when we actually could maintain this yard, we can mow it with the Craftsman, but until that time, we just got to use the big guns. It's probably the only efficient way we can get this job done. On second thought, we could at least get the 2-cycle out to pull the hay rack out of the way. That would be a good use for it. Give her a couple turns of the wheel. Come on, baby. There she be. I just see this tractor getting a lot of work on the hay series, which on my old school series, this tractor definitely gets its fair share of work in, except it's an 850, the prototype model. Plus, it was a front wheel assist mock-up. They didn't make any of those. That's the true version of the tractor. I think I really want to kind of do some tree work. I'll trim up these elm trees, but I think I'm also going to take out probably some of these spruces that are lying in the middle. This one's probably fine, but I think I'm going to take these two out. It just seems a bit overcrowded. I can at least rent a wood chipper, and we'll just sell it out of the back of the grain truck. I think we could get it to work with that. I don't really see why it wouldn't. Probably will take out this tree as well. Just chip up all that stuff and sell the wood chips. Gets us a little bit of money. Could I make it into firewood? Yeah, but this kind of wood doesn't really make that good of firewood. And that, in my opinion, looks about 5 times better than it did, even though I know I could probably hit this spot that I just saw. Don't really have anything else to get into the tight, compact spots around the main house, so I'll use the Craftsman. Maybe even try and sneak it alongside the shed. I'll tell you what, though. A little bit goes a long way. The yard looks a lot better than it did before we got here. At least it just looks manageable. It looks like someone's at least tried to take care of it. I mean, it's nothing perfect. It definitely doesn't look good, but we can fix that over time. We got time. That's really all we got on this save. After getting off the phone call, we had the wood chipper secured. It's about $2,000, well, $1,900. Reason it's so expensive is because we are not a landscape company. We're also not some part of the Department of Transportation. We're literally just a bystander trying to rent a big wood chipper. So therefore, they're going to jack up the price on us. There's actually our seed dealer that we'll be having to go and get our stuff from this season. I believe that's the road that we take to get to the other wheat field. I haven't really checked it yet. But, oh, she's going to run a stop sign. There is our wood chipper. Here's also a little bit of food for thought. You guys do not know how Vermeer identifies their equipment. If you ever look at a Vermeer wood chipper and you see the number, the first 2 digits or the first digit itself is the size of diameter trunk that you can put through this machine at max. So a BC1000X, you can fit a 10-inch diameter tree in that chipper. The higher the number is, the wider the trunk you can put in it. I think they make all the way up to a 2100X. And there's two versions. One's got a John Deere motor in it, and the other one is, I can't remember, like a Kohler or something. Either way, that's your little fun fact for the day. Now comes the real fun part, and if you really have never stood next to one of these machines when they're actually operating, they are loud. I mean, you can think it's loud, but it's loud. I take that back. We will not be using the grain truck because, you know, looking in the store, it tells me that I can't put wood chips in this bed. That's fantastic knowledge to learn. Looks like the only thing I have that's really cheap is this barge box. I'll just lease it so it kind of looks like I could, you know, afford it. Well, let's go pick this up and then we'll go shred some wood. Chipper problem fixed. Chainsaw unaccomplished. Let's grab the chainsaw. Get rid of pesky bugger number 1. Pesky bugger number 2. Very nice. Pesky bugger number 3. That'll trim off these very pokey branches. I doubt I'm going to get anything worth using out of these, but we'll try and see what we can get for wood chips. The only thing that sucks about the auto feed on this chipper is that it just flings the log everywhere. It doesn't really even feed itself. Well, that was completely pointless. It didn't even get anything in there. I hope these are big enough tree stumps that I can get even remotely something out of it. Otherwise, that $230 was completely wasted. Oh, we did get some. We got some. I'm excited. Trying to feed itself. There we go. Got another full one, so we might get something out of it. There it goes. Now it's auto-feeding. Come on, keep it going. There it goes. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Ben, but I think I messed this tree up. I'm just going to chop the whole thing down and leave those two over there. RIP this tree because I can't seem to learn how to cut wood right. This is reason number 1 why I primarily do not like to do any sort of forestry or timber work in the game. I mean, come on. I chopped the wood, but there's this collision that sits up top that won't let me put it into the chipper. Try and flip it around, maybe? Any luck there? This one doesn't have it, so this should work just fine. Never mind. All of this worked for maybe 20 cents at the sale point. The things I do for money. I'll try and get some of the remainder of this tree chopped up, and we'll see you guys when we're done, so we could get the final sale on what this was all worth. And if it was even worth it. With that finally all chopped up, we're going to do ourselves a favor and just try and knock out these stumps that are in the ground. I've already taken out the big one, so we don't have to worry about that. But these little ones are going to be a pain, because if I don't take care of them now, I'm going to hit them with the mower and I'll really regret it, because you can't see those, and that's the fastest way to screw up your deck. I also found a little trick that apparently if you stick the trunks of the wood beside where the wood chipper hacks, it still does work and it chips it up. So I kind of cheated. Logs that shouldn't have gone through this went through it, and hey, we got it all in the trailer. That works for me. All of that for 2 cubic yards. You got to be kidding. I'm sure we'll have more work to do around the farm at some point, but that at least opens up the area around the farm. Kind of looks a little bit more clean, a little bit more open, more friendly. All I'm really hoping for is that this at least pays for the rental fees. If it does that, I'm perfectly okay with it being a wash. I don't want to see these trees again. I'm not going to do this job again. It sucked. But these things will be going right back to the dealer once this stuff is sold. The money's probably different too, because I actually had to set this building up that wasn't there, but there was no other way to sell wood chips. And I'm like, I've already been fighting this for like 45 minutes. I'm not about to lose all that. So let's see. Does it at least cover our rental fee? Please tell me it does. This is not reassuring. This is really not reassuring. This has got to cover at least $400. We didn't even cover the rental fee of the wagon. That was the biggest waste of money I think I've ever done in this game. Grandpa, why do you hate me so much? I just lost over $240 because I tried to clean up your front yard. All right. Let's get everything back to the farm, cleaned up, organized.
Later.
After rethinking my life choices, we got all that stuff taken back. I'm going to try and at least make some money on this and go and grab the baler. I know I probably won't get a whole lot of bales, but I need to feel better about myself. Let's grab that 2-cycle putt-putt and we'll head back north. You're kidding, right? You're kidding, right? You know what? I'm about done with today. I have to put on that high trailer hitch that goes on this because the drawbar does not hook up to the baler, therefore meaning we're going to have to pull it with the 3010. I think I'm starting to understand now why Grandpa's farm started going under. The amount of inefficient pieces of equipment on this farm is absolutely absurd. There we go. Now we're back in the saddle again. You watch, it's not even able to hook up to the hay rack. Oh, I'm gonna be mad. This thing doesn't hook up to the hay rack on that hitch. Oh, I'm gonna throw a hissy fit. I will throw a hissy fit, and I do not care. Oh, you've got to be joking. I cannot win today. Yes. Pour one for the pathetic 3. Looks like we'll have to come back with the putt-putt. The putt-putt picks up the bales. Yay! Oh, this day just keeps getting better and better and better. I love it. This is fantastic. I'm having such a great time, and I can't think of anything else I'd love to be doing with my life right now. All right, let's try this on for size. On a plus note, the baler at least bales. We can build off of that for positivity, but why on earth does this thing only go like 1 mile an hour? I mean, I get you're supposed to bale slow, but there's not enough straw here to be clogging up this old thing that we need to be going 2 miles an hour around the corner. Bambi is in the field. I repeat, Bambi is in the field. We are also making pretty decent headway. The only thing is that, well, we harvested this field a heck of a lot faster than we're baling it. I don't like that. At this point, I believe our first purchase on the farm is probably going to be a new square baler. This Massey it's got some problems. It's got some problems. It doesn't hook up to the 2-cycle. It also bales really, really, really slowly, and it's also pretty dang loud. We are making a pretty decent amount of bales, though. I know that trailer holds like 150 of these things. So, in theory, depending on how much one of those trailers get us, we might be able to make our money back from all of the hardship that we're looking at, because it says it's 76 bucks, maybe a ton for the straw bales. I don't really know what the money figure on that is, but I don't think 155 straw bales are going to get me rich by any means. We can always dream, but we gotta list the facts. It ain't gonna happen. Starting on the north-south passes, we are now up to 47 bales. Once this one drops on the ground, that leaves us quite a bit of room to at least fill up that hay rack. Like I said, I don't know what that hay rack's going to bring at market, but I'm staying optimistic. If I can get at least a few thousand out of it, I'd be pretty happy.
20 minutes later.
Checking back in, we got 4 passes left. This is I think I'm averaging somewhere around 4 miles an hour. This is probably realistic to what it is in real life. It just sucks that there's certain spots that this baler slows us down to 2, and then there's other spots that lets us go up to 7. So I'm kind of trying to finagle in between the two, and I think this is the even medium that I'm going to be able to keep it at. I think I'm starting to understand Grandpa's hardships a lot more now, but it's okay. It's all right. We'll get everything addressed. Once we get those bales into town, though, and sold off, that will wrap out our episode. So I am going to continue and get this done. We'll see you guys when we start getting those bales onto the rack through the auto-load system, and then we'll make our way into town and finish off the episode. As good as these 2 cycles sounded, I am glad that this job does not require very much power, because that is the one thing that they technically lacked. This series of the 2 cycles wasn't bad because they started, fine-tuning the motor and actually getting it some guts. But we got 106 bales to pick up, and it should be a pretty seamless process. Just gotta boop. Come on, finances. I'm making bad decisions. My wallet's hating me. I'm here to pick up some bales now, so get out of my way. This is gonna be the fastest way to pick these bales up. I just drive right down the middle of these rows and boom, 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 boom. And that is all she wrote. How about that for some stacking? Perfect level steps. First things first, gotta set the GPS. Now on my way to show me the money. The wheels on the deer go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the deer go round and round all through the town. I gotta keep myself entertained. I've been doing nothing but sitting on these tractors all day long. Come on, work with me. It is really cool though how I showcase like the graffiti on the side of the train cars. I do like that. Come to think of it, I probably could have put the Silverado on this and we could have gotten this done a lot faster. We live and we learn. Sometimes we just learn. And the crowd goes wild. Seriously wild! Alright, that's it. We're buying a new baler. $8,600 in straw! Woo! Alright, that just made the whole day worth it. That just made every single last moment of that worth it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna be out of debt in no time. I still got another field of straw to cut. Who's a genius? Can you see this? See my genius. I think that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to Grandpa's Farm. If you guys would like to see more, obviously let me know down in the comments down below. I'd like to make this another new series, kind of give the channel a new range of content. But thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. We'll see you guys on the next one. Be sure to check out the Boomstick Club. This is the Rental Man out.